Well,
Yo, yo.
hello. Welcome to this episode of the Dogging It Show. How's it going, fellas? Good to see you.
Good to see
Was
you, Joey.
is
Oh,
anyone
okay.
going to reply
Nobody
to
talking
Joey?
at the same time.
I didn't know if you were talking to us or the audience.
We are dogging it already. Well, hey guys, do us a favor, hit up the chat. Let us know that you can hear us. Let us know that you see everything good, because we have a really important guest today. We're going to be talking Nineball, and I'm pretty excited about this. We had an amazing tournament over the weekend. I sweated a lot of the matches. Sweated?
What's the
Sweated.
proper terminology,
I
Panozo?
don't know, but I watched a lot of the
What?
matches. It was a lot of fun. You guys check it out. You guys catch a lot of the matches.
Yeah, I watched a ton of them. I wasn't getting any work done last week, and just getting up at 5 to watch matches wasn't exactly ideal, but it was great. It was great viewing and great action, great tournament, great venue. I think everything turned out really well.
What about you, Melina?
Oh, I was like Mike. I was up at 5 a.m. and surprisingly, I stayed up, which was the most shocking part of it. 'Cause that's how exciting some of these matches were. Because sometimes when I'm watching rotation, I can tend to hit the snooze button a little bit, but it wasn't. It wasn't this past week. That's for sure.
And you may have had a wager or two on it if I know you, Melina, Mike.
Yes, and
Yeah,
I won one of those. I won one of those wagers. Mike
Oh,
owes me dinner.
you weren't
does
in
he?
it with Carl. You weren't. It was the bet was with Carl, and me and you were splitting the dinner, Mike. That's what it was. We were on the same team. We're on
I
team
Hey,
dogging
lost.
it. Yeah, you lost. It's us versus him.
Melina, you're in trouble because I see Pinozo posting on Facebook all the time. All of these dinners he goes to, these fancy restaurants.
I'm
you're into your
dodging him like
wallet
the
on this one.
plague. Let me tell you, I'm dodging Mike like the plague when I see him in Vegas. You can believe that.
Well, hey guys, we have an important guest. We know she's busy. We're really excited to have her. So why don't we bring in our special guest, Emily Frazer?
Bring
Bring
her
her in,
on in,
Mike.
Joey.
Oh, I'll bring her in. You bring her in.
Yeah, yeah, you got it.
Hey, Emily, what's up?
Hey, I'm all right. Just coming down from the European Open. Look, it was an incredible event. You guys chatting about it yourselves. It was just. I watched it back last night because obviously I'm a psychopath, and I went. I hadn't seen my parents for a good couple of weeks because they went on like a family holiday. Obviously, I chose the European Open over that. Um, but I just sat there, had dinner, and sat with my mum and dad, and I was explaining my mum the break, and she was like, "I still just don't get it." She's like, "I just don't understand." And so I took her over to the pool table. I was like, "This is the situation, mum." And my dad's like explaining her. She's like, "Right, okay, I kind of get what you're saying, but I still don't understand." But me and my dad were just watching. We were watching the quarterfinals because they were the matches I didn't get to see. So I made a hell of a load of notes of the production side of things, that we need to improve on. And so, yeah, it just got me all excited about it. And I just couldn't wait to get to work this morning.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just, look, it's Paul's on fire at the moment. And it's really exciting. It's just finally, this event just felt like it was the turning point of something new. Um, so yeah, we're just really buzzed about it in the office, and really looking forward to what's going to come.
First of
Yeah.
all, how do you not watch the quarterfinals? You of all people, how do you miss the quarters?
For the for the first time ever. No, it was the
Let it.
last 16. Yeah, no, it was the last 16. No, I watched those in the quarterfinals. It was my best friend's wedding, and I said to her, I was like, "Do you know what? The European Open is on at the same time." And I'm not being funny. You know how all of these schedule clashes come into play, right? in
Oh,
my diary, in my diary, I had this wedding, and I was like, and we were like, oh, I'm gonna have to like go because I've got this wedding. I didn't move the European Open because of my own personal thing. I sat there and was just like, I didn't even think about it. Like, and I said to my mate, and she was one of my good friends because she also understood. And she said, listen, if you're not going to be there, that's okay. I get it. I said, look, it's going to be fine. I'm coming to the wedding. So yeah, I missed the quarterfinals that evening. So I watched them back last night. It was quite exciting waking up and seeing who had made the semi-finals.
Yeah, sure. So
welcome to life in the U.S.
yeah, right. You don't give yourself a couple of days to unwind and decompress. You're like jumping right back into watching video.
Oh it's the best time to do it because it's all in your brain. It's still fresh. It's
Yeah.
there. And also there's no time to waste. It's just, you know, I bloody love it at the moment. And I probably always have done. The team, like everyone came in, what's the day today? It's Wednesday. Everyone came in yesterday. All the multi-sport team, we all had a debrief and chatted about the event, what worked, what didn't work, what we can apply for the US Open, so we can make these decisions now and start cracking on with things. So, and then everyone's got the rest of the week off. So that's the time to sort of chill out and stuff. But these debriefs are the best times to do it.
Yeah, sure.
When it's all fresh.
So Emily, I know pool fans are pretty vocal, both good and bad, in terms of feedback.
No.
Yeah. So what kind of feedback have you gotten on the event?
No, I didn't get any complaints from the players, which they do tell us complaints. So they do come to us and tell us. But it just seemed like there weren't any complaints. And the only complaint we got was this Josh Filler, Jason Shaw match. And it was all to do with this when we switched to the hand rack. I just landed and I just got home and I had like this 1 hour window where I had to get ready and go to the wedding. And I turned on, it was 11 o'clock at home. And I turned it on, watched the walk-ons and started watching the first couple of racks. I was like, oh, fucking hell, what's going on here? Something's not right.
Can't leave for a minute.
No. And then Boise starts calling me and I'm like, and he's like, Emily, I don't know what to do. You know, this is happening, this is happening. I was like, right, okay, so do this, do that. And so he's obviously, you know, he's seen the situation and he's addressed it and he's taken charge, which is bloody brilliant. You know, good. That's what we need on site. And it just highlighted that there was obviously a bit of an issue there. And as you've probably seen today, it's something we've addressed for moving forward. It's just something that, again, when you apply these rule changes or these changes in a certain event and you're doing a trial, you don't know what knock-on effect it's going to have. The hand racking, and I've personally said it before, is that the hand racking is how it's interesting on TV. You know, you have the hand racking there and it feels like you're going to get a better break. You feel like you're going to get a better rack. It's all tighter. But now the nine's on the spot, you've got a break box. It actually doesn't really matter. So let's at least be consistent with it. We're going to start the tournament. Now we're in a position where we can actually continue the template rack for the whole time. So let's do that. You know, let's see how that goes. So I just feel like 2022 is the year of just trying new things. And then, and then we finally get there in 2023. So that seems to be the only feedback we got. It seemed like the players just absolutely loved Fulda, loved the venue, loved the location. And so we've taken that on board. We had no complaints around the format changes in, you know, we changed the race 2 for the losers round. Nothing on that. We changed the double elimination all the way through to the last 64 and did single elimination from there. No feedback on that. Okay, tick. So it just seemed like it was, like I said, it seemed like it was like the changing point for us, for the better. And so we've taken it all on board and bloody hell, we're just going to get so much stronger and better. It's absolutely unbelievable. It scares me. It actually scares me.
So let's say the US Open, everybody's even happier now that you're using the template the whole way through. Would we anticipate that all of the Matchroom Open events would have the identical format for 2023?
Good question. No, because I know. It's
you got no complaints, so why not, Emily?
Yeah, I mean, I can see the independent, the invitational events, but for the open events, why would you not do them all the same format?
Yeah, no. Do you know what? Not the open events, 100%.
Oh, okay, that's what I meant.
Yeah. Sorry. I misunderstood. So the open events, let's keep it. I'd want it so you tune in and you know what the script is with the open event. It's this one template. It goes everywhere around the world. It's this amount of players. This is the story. Blah blah blah. Yeah, okay. We might get to the Moscone Cup, and we might keep the rules there. But if we want a hand rack from day 1 to day 4, then we'll do that.
Yeah.
So the problem was switching from template to hand rack. That was the issue. That's what was highlighted was the issue. The issue wasn't just using a hand rack in a tournament. The issue was the switch, because you can see the dents are on the cloth the night before. And so we have this discussion about whether we should. I was there before I went to the airport. We had a meeting on site. Cole was obviously involved as well with the referees and the Matchroom team. And we were going to re-cloth, because you do get dents from the template on the cloth. But again, it speeds it up and it makes the pocket seem bigger. So we have those two options, and we decided that they were breaking well. The 9 wasn't moving. They did it again in the morning, they told me. And then all of a sudden, match 1 started and it just went all tits up. So
I love these English phrases that I'm going to start adopting now.
Yeah, she's a quote machine.
So that's why we changed it.
Yeah.
You mentioned the M word, and there was a reply from a comment on a post this morning when someone brought up the possibility of using this format in the Moscone Cup. Is that something that's being tossed around come this December in Las Vegas?
Say that again. Sorry.
When there was a comment this morning on a post where a fan was talking about using this break for the Moscone Cup, and you kind of hinted at that possibility. Is that something that you're realistically going and considering doing for this December?
Yeah, 100%. If something's working, let's keep it. And again, there should be one set of rules, but I'd like to work with the WPA on it. That we've done this for the European Open. We got all of this, we got our feedback back, and we're going to trial again for the US Open. So let's see what happens on the Moscone. And then together with the governing body, we look at this for moving forward and we say, okay, we've done a survey, we've done this. Let's make a unified decision, and let's look at the Nineball rules and let's make it standard. That's the way I'd like to go about it, really.
Sure.
Talking about standard, the box that you guys have, I'm really curious how that box came to be. It seems like just coming in a few inches from like a traditional break box really made a huge difference, and everybody seemed to enjoy the tournament a lot better because we got to see all types of play, and it wasn't just a breaking competition. So where did the idea for this box come from?
Gosh, I think it was Jeremy Jones. I want to say it was Jeremy. Yeah, it was. We were at the World Cup pool and we were discussing it, and we asked Jeremy. We asked Carl. Jeremy seemed the most knowledgeable on it. He spoke to Marcel, and he advised us on it. So that's where it came from.
How nervous were you? Oh, go ahead, Joey.
I was just going to say, it seems like out of, all the tweaking that's been done over the last few years, this seems like something that could really be replicated in other events and really become a standard. Do you see that happening?
Definitely. Like I said, we make a unified decision with the WPA, with the governing body, and see how this changes for moving forward. But we have to make sure we do, lots of research. We trial it on different types of events. We trial it on the Open event. We try it on a Moscone Cup. And also, to be totally honest with you, I think a couple of years ago, I think we didn't really know what we wanted to achieve. I know certainly when I came into pool, there was this idea that everything had to be really quick, and everything had to, there had to be these break and runs, and that displayed like the better pool player. But I think personally, with our hand or our foot in the snooker side of things, and now we're also looking at the darts, we're now seeing that pool is darts meet snooker. And I think the great thing that happened at the European Open is that you tuned in and you saw pool at a different level, and you felt like the players were gaining more respect. And I'm talking more from a casual sports fan who sat normally, honestly, sat at home, a casual sports fan, so not any of, well, I'm probably more of a casual fan than the four of us, but they're sat at home, and normally it's like, I can make that shot, that's easy, I can do that. But I think, like, when I first came in, that's kind of what we were probably trying to achieve. I'm not really sure what we thought we were trying to do. But it just seems like snooker's got this reputation where it's a very respected sport. Very respected. You've got the safety games, you've got that. We're not trying to make pool snooker. They're two totally different sports. But that's why Nineball is so brilliant, because you have the luck side of it. You do have that, you know, where you can get some fortune in a game. But also you were seeing, after every break, you were seeing the full 60 seconds get used. You were seeing the push outs getting used. You were seeing the extensions getting used. And you saw the players genuinely, their brain was like, you know, that emoji where the brain's like all fried at the top.
The mind-blowing one.
Yeah, they looked exhausted after some of these matches.
They did. And it just seems like finally we just displayed the players in a light where they should be. They are actually incredible players. And I don't think we were promoting them or portraying them in that light for our Nineball events. And it finally feels like we have. And like the jump shots, they're still fucking brilliant. Keep the jump shots. That's what's great about the pool. But this break seems to have just totally
Even
changed
things
the
out.
game.
Yeah.
It really did. It really did. From, you know, someone who's played pool for a long time and watched a lot of pool, I kind of felt like you still had the element that a great player could still run 4 racks or 5 racks if they got hot and their break was working. But also there was a lot of cat and mouse and a lot of intellectual pool where they really had to think about what they were going to do. Where do I push? I remember just watching this weekend and explaining to my oldest son who's watching it. And he's like, Dad, what's a push out? You know, what is this all about? And trying to explain to him, well, you want to push it to a place where they can't really make a good shot, but then they can give it back to you, so it can't be too bad. And so all of that took place in each of the matches. I think every match had a little bit of everything. And that's the thing that really made the event brilliant.
I think also Jeremy and Carl did a really good job this week of kind of explaining the nuance of this change and how it impacted the game. Because, you know, if you were watching it without sound, especially when they went to the hand rack for the final couple of matches, you would think it didn't make the game look really good without sound, because these players, the last thing you wanted to do was be on the hill and be the one breaking, because it was just impossible to make a ball. You were scratching. It was almost like a disadvantage. And to a certain extent, it could make the game look, you know, like these guys aren't that great. So the commentators, I thought, did a really good job explaining the nuance of the change in the game. And I think then now going to the template through those final things will take away that complete, you know, you saw some of those in the last couple of matches. The players looked like they were defeated when they went up to break. They just knew it wasn't going to turn out good. So I thought that, again, I thought that Jeremy and Carl did a really good job of helping explain why this is actually more difficult, and it's not that the players are playing poorly.
Yeah.
So.
No, I totally agree. And I think it's part of our brand of our commentary team as well. You know, we've now made a point that those two are rotating on our events. They're seeing the events firsthand. They're seeing the conditions. They're out there. They're seeing things happen behind the scenes. That's why it's so important to have that consistency on that side of things as well, because they're the both best commentators in pool, and we only have the best. So it's I think they contribute to the event a massive deal. Yeah, no, they're really good.
Yeah. They're the best.
There was a ton of storylines this entire week, Emily. I'm curious, what were some of your favorites? Because I know for me and Mike and Joey, you know, the one that sticks out for me is Mario He, and the event that he had in that epic match with Albin that ended in heartache. You had Josh and his wife going and playing each other, which racked up 1 million views, and you know,
still going.
Minutes, and still going. It's pretty sick. What were some of your favorite parts of the week?
To be honest, it was seeing some of the back tables, and you just found that I was just walking around the arena. I just had the Q score app up on my phone like a proper loser, and it was just going.
What? That was me all week. What is that? Oh, I take great offense to that statement right there.
I know, but I'm a 32-year-old woman that's just like
Uh.
walking around and just absolutely telling everyone that I'm in love with Paul. But no, and it's walking around and seeing. It just felt like at every table it felt dramatic. And one thing that we wanted to do with the arena for the European Open was we wanted to incorporate everyone into it. And I mean, I've just been looking at the US Open arena today, and it's trying to make all 256 players feel like they are in this event. If you are not on table 2 and 3, I want you to have your heart pumping, even if you're on table number 23. And walking around all of those tables, it felt like that. Like David Alcady was, I'll try and rack my brain now. He was a couple of racks down against the Italian player whose name's totally gone through my mind.
Corriere.
No, it wasn't Daniele.
Oh, yeah.
It was another chap whose name's totally gone. But the match was brilliant. And the thing is, what you were seeing was even on the last 16, and you're seeing Mario come through, you're seeing, you know, 2 of the Spanish guys get through.
Delgado.
And you're like, they're just like, they're coming under the radar. Frank, that's it. Someone's just said Frank. Frank, I'm really sorry. But I'm really bloody sorry. I'm really sorry. But you were seeing these players come through who don't always get that attention. They don't, you know, get to that table 2 and 3, for instance. And it's great storylines. It is absolutely, because also you can see it on their face. You can see the passion. Oh my gosh, Mario, I arrived and it was halfway through Mario and Albin's match, and I couldn't take my eyes off of that match. I couldn't take my eyes off of it. And Mario was, I hope he doesn't mind me saying, but he was in absolute bits at the end of that match. Like,
yeah, sure,
bits.
Of course.
And I went over and saw him, and I saw he was, you know, obviously clearly quite upset. And I didn't want to overstep the mark and be like, and I've gone up to him, I thought, oh, bloody hell, he's actually going to turn around and go, oh, Emily, please just leave me alone. He didn't, thank goodness. But I just wanted him to know that, like, these players should be so proud of how far they come. Every event, every new, you know, last 16, quarterfinal, semi-final, every section of the tournament is a new achievement. And they should be so proud of that, because these are the toughest conditions now. And these are tough arenas. And everyone is getting so much better as a player. And they should be proud of themselves as to how they hold themselves. They're not divas. They're fantastic people. And they are actual ambassadors to the sport. So, you know, these players lose a match and they're out signing stuff for the spectators. They are just a credit to the sport. And I just want people like Mario He to come out of the European Open, have his head held high, chin up, and be like, do you know what? Yeah, all right, I lost that match, but fuck me, I'm going straight into the US Open and I'm going to get one step further.
Yeah.
And I hope they take that motivation and move forward with it. But those storylines that this event produces,
yeah.
Chef's
Well,
kiss
he was just a couple of racks from turning the whole Team Europe Moscone Cup points thing on its head.
Yeah.
But that's why these points are brilliant, because you've actually got transparency now, haven't you, Mike? It's like, finally, it doesn't matter.
Well, that's not fair, because everyone loves saying you're the villain, Emily. So they love saying you're pulling the puppet strings. What are those guys going to do?
Yeah, I'll happily be the villain. It's fine. I'm sure they'll find something else to moan about. So there'll always be something.
Yeah.
One thing that I really loved about what you guys have done over the last year is give not just praise, but give players who are having successes more of an opportunity. You know, we saw it with Youngo getting a shot at the World Pool Masters, even Aloho Sum, which a lot of people, myself included, maybe felt it wasn't deserving, and then he ends up making it to a final. Is that something that we're going to continue to see when these guys like a Jonas or a Delgado or even a Mario He, who, you know, he's been on a World Cup of stage pool, but he's never been like on a World Pool Masters stage before. So is that something that we'll continue to see with these guys who have great runs?
Definitely, because everything now is on order of merit, and we have to honor that. And so now those players that reach those those last 16 spots and do well in those areas, they're also now a bit of a fear factor to other players who may not have been beforehand. And they also get that experience on those stages, and they can go into their next match with a little bit of an advantage. So the best thing we can do is to keep, we don't want to just keep looking after the top 8, for instance. We're building a tour of 128 players. We are building a tour, and we need a top 64, a strong top 64, not just a top 8. So we should be giving everyone as much experience as possible, giving everyone the opportunities. Knowing that one of these players could get a sponsorship bonus just from being on a Table 2 stream literally brings joy to my heart. And I know I do actually have a heart. I know it might be strange to some.
Shocking. Breaking news. Breaking news.
Breaking news right
like, where's my Instagram?
You heard it here on the Dogging It Show.
We finally got her to go and break some news on the show. It only took 18 times having her on.
But, that's what's so great about these open events. 256 players, and you can probably only guarantee, like, you would 100% bet some money on 1 or 2 players that will make the last 16. I wouldn't bet my money on more than 2 players that would make the 16, because it's just now with this break, it just seems like you're going to see these stronger players come through, and there's now more events for them to practice at. It's not just the World Pool Masters, the World Cup Pool, and the Moscone. There's so much more to it.
Well, you alluded to it earlier when you talked about kind of the challenge that these players face to make the final 32 or the final 16. And we see it because following the professionals, we see them, they'll go to a different tournament and they'll post when they get to the semis or the finals. But with your events, they're posting, I made it to the final 64, I made it to the final 32. And I'm like, wow, you're supposed to win this thing, or you kind of feel like they're that caliber of player, but they're proud. They're proud with each step of the way. And I think what you just said about the 256 field, there's a lot to that. There's a lot of bad things that can happen through the course of fighting your way through 256 players. Is that the max that you think you can do? Or do you think you could do a larger tournament?
I just don't think it doesn't make financial sense for us to increase 256. We don't really get anything out of it. And I would just rather do another tournament, to be totally honest with you. I'd always max it at 256 players. But I think we're going to get to the point where we're going to start doing 128 fielded events. Move down that route. Oh, do you know what? I'm just coming to work this week is just so exciting because there's just so much, like, we're on fire at the moment. There is so much that we're planning.
Give us something, Emily. Just give us something.
Where's your graphic, Mike? Where's your graphic?
Yeah, hold on a second. You mentioned a new event, and we're not going to go and let you off the hook. I'll tell you, when there was a post about a potential new event, my phone started blowing up with Europeans asking me, I know you know something, Mike. Come on, spill the beans. So
I got the same stuff. I was getting the same texts. It's like, okay, where's it going to be?
Come on.
It's not, do you know, I don't think it's even a secret anymore. I think everyone, even on this podcast, knows that we're going to be doing more open events. That's no secret. But it's finding the right time in the calendar. It's finding the right place. And it's stop talking about it and just bloody do it. But we are in this, we're just so passionate about building this portal. Like, we are now all in. That is it. If you're playing poker, our chips are all in. We're not, raising here and we'll call here. We are all bloody into Nineball pool.
But
Can we get a continent?
You sounded like you were a little closer to someplace than that. So I'll name off the 7 continents, okay?
Yeah.
And you blink your eyes when I hit the right one, okay?
Bearing in mind that I did use to play poker.
North America.
No blink. I got no blink, Mike.
Europe. Asia. Antarctica.
Middle East.
Antarctica. Africa.
Who said Antarctica?
Well, I mean, I'm naming them off. I'm waiting for a blink. My guess was the U.S. because I was North America, because I know you want to get another event into the U.S., another open event into the U.S., because you've got a couple in Europe now. But Asia always also seemed like an opportunity. But do you have a place in mind?
Yeah, I've got about 10 other places in mind.
Okay.
And it's just a matter of which ones come first and what's going to work. If you saw the notes that we've got of all the different open events, like I said, it's no secret. All we're going to now keep doing is building our open events. If there's another invitational that we slot in, we'll slot it in. But we are all into Nineball now, and our aim is to keep growing the tour. And that's coupled with Matchroom events and the Nineball World Ranking events. I'm projecting that we're going to have 30 events for next year. Matchroom
30.
and Nineball ranking events.
Right.
There's going to be 30 ranking events 30 Nineball events for next year.
How many more events you think on the US side?
Well, I don't want to give too much away.
Boy, she was so close. She was like right there.
She's about to step over the line, and then she realizes.
Throw us a bone. Throw us a bone.
Look, I'm way too trained now. You can't. There's no way you're getting out. But all I can say is that I think now is this time where we've seen something new with this European Open. We are more passionate than ever, and that's never going to stop. And now we know what works, what doesn't, and we've also opened the door to working with a lot of other people. We've seen what we're doing now with the Asian Open and how we're going to be streaming that on that side of things. That's another thing that we're also going to be looking at for moving forward. We decided to try this with the APF, and we're going to see how that goes. So we're just trying everything. And I'm not going to lie, we could be doing this over the next 3 years, but we're just on fire right now, and I don't want to stop. Yeah, so sure. we're just going to keep trying to push everything. And we make a little, at the moment we're just going like this. And if we make a little, wrong turn there, then okay, we go back and we go another way. It's kind of like a game of snakes and ladders a little bit. But I just feel sorry for anyone that's trying to catch up with us, because bloody hell, I've never been so motivated and driven for Nineball Pool than I ever have been right now, because we've seen something and it's growing, and it's frightening as to where it could potentially go. It is frightening.
So Emily, you're always sorry, Mike.
No, it's okay. I was just asking, do you have a time frame in which you will announce a new open event?
No, but I'd like to make some announcements at the US Open this year.
Okay.
On the Dogging It show at the US Open.
Yes, let's time it, Emily. I know you want to get your press release out, but at the same time, we could have you on here.
Right.
Give me $100,000 and I'll give you a scoop.
At Dogging It at the US Open. I like.
Let's check with our sponsors first.
Yeah, we'll follow up with you.
So Emily, I know you're always looking for areas to improve.
Come on then, tell us what was wrong.
Well, no. Pool fans are always eager to give some advice and things they think could be better. Oh. And someone in the chat earlier mentioned commentating on Table 2. Is that in the works? And keep in mind that Melina and Mike and I have microphones and we'll travel. So we'd like to offer our services. But seriously, have you given consideration to commentating on Table 2? I know you have the best team in the world really on Table 1 most of the time. But folks that watch on Table 2, sometimes there's intrigue in that match and they want to watch that match instead. And we talked before about how when you hear people talking about the match, it really helps tie it all together. So thoughts on that?
I think, first of all, it's a lot more than two people sitting there and commentating, because people don't work for free on our shows, because also I've always been to the point, if you're doing it for free, I can't tell you off or tell you what you're doing wrong. So
I love that response.
I don't get paid by
I want,
Matchroom, and
I
it's
want
never
that
stopped
freedom,
you.
so I will pay you to have
I
that freedom
know.
to be able to tell you what I really feel about you. I love that.
No one works for free at Matchroom. This is anyone who joins us should be, it's a business for everyone. It's same as the players, same as anyone who works on the shows. Also, there's equipment to it. The other side of things are, if there were two decisions and I thought, right, it's either no table 2 or table 2 with no commentary, I know what option I'm going for.
I agree with that.
Also, my personal vision is that you should be watching table 1 with the audio and you should be watching table 2 on your phone muted, because I want you watching both of them, and you're going to mute one of them anyway. I don't want you muting the good guys. You need to listen to our main guys. And also, I think everyone's very aware that I'm very particular. We have a brand, and we have built a lot in Carl Boys, and we've built a lot. We haven't really had to build it with Jeremy, but he's now just doing a lot more Envision things because he's been doing a lot more with us. So it's just, look, if I can build 2 more further commentators, and down the line we want to put commentary on the other table, but it's in the line, but it's not my priority. Again, if you say to me, Emily, put commentary on table 2 or give me a new open event, I'm going with the new open event.
Yeah.
I want to put my time and priority into things like that rather than comms for table 2. But I get what everyone's saying, but I don't think it's the priority right now.
So you mentioned earlier on that you were making notes about production, about what you can do better in production. What did you see there that you'll change for US Open, or that you need to do better? What did you see at the tournament that you still need to improve on?
Just like, obviously my background was a lot more TV, so I wouldn't want to highlight it here because there's probably things I see that you three or anyone else wouldn't have seen. So it's probably my own little nitpicking. It's just things like, when you're watching the quarterfinals, there's only 2 tables that are in action, but you can see the third table sitting there with no one sitting in the seating banks. It's small things like that that are just nitpicky. We were doing interviews with the table 1 players, but also there's 2 other quarterfinalists that are on table 2. Why didn't we hear from them? There's where I'd prefer to spend money on than commentary on table 2. We should hear from all of the quarterfinalists. It's things like that on the actual what we're delivering to you guys, that you'll see improve for the US Open, definitely. And with the Junior Open coming in,
that's gonna be a fun event.
We got a graphic for that one too. We're always prepared on Dogging.
There you go.
You mentioned the delivery to the customer, and as great as the event was, it was not without hiccups, Emily. But here's the thing, and it's got to be pointed out. This has been a bit of a trend over the last few events where, like, on the tail end of the tournaments, there seems to be having some issues with
this is my answer.
Well, first thing off, explain to everyone who keeps commenting on social media why DAZN is not going away.
Do you know what? I get it. I get everyone's frustration. I share the exact same frustration, if not more. At the weekend, there was actually a total global failure, technical failure with DAZN's platform. So the football was down, our event was down, our final, obviously. We only found out about it moments leading up to the final. So we couldn't even say to you guys 1 hour before, by the way, this has happened, it's going on here. So I get it. First of all, we don't have a very good track record of delivery to you guys in the US on DAZN. I get it, and I can only apologize for that. Secondly, we haven't really been able to explain that. So this happened on the final. No one really knew what was going. And then all of a sudden, a Facebook stream pops up. And that's us trying to go like this and make sure you can all watch it. Then all of a sudden, we're playing commercial music in the break and the Facebook stream comes down. Oh, shit, we didn't think about that. So it's like, right, quick change, no commercial music, because you were set in the arena and you didn't want to remove the music because we had such a good crowd and we had such a good atmosphere in there. Didn't want to kill that. And so we switched to that rights-free music we could use. And then all of a sudden, DAZN's back on. And so we make the decision, do we keep with the stream with you guys and keep the free stream? Do you know what? It breaks my heart every time we have to switch to a free stream because we've let you guys down. And all I can say is that from a pool perspective is that there is obviously Matchroom Sport. There is a very big umbrella of sports within Matchroom Sport. DAZN are a very big partner of ours. And I understand everyone's frustrations. And all I can say right now, which isn't really the answer that you want, is that we are aware of it. And it is on our priority list to do something about it and talk with the right people and to make sure that we are not letting the people who have been tuning in with our Matchroom events for years and who are our loyal fans, we do not want to be pushing you to all these different subscriptions. That is not what we want to do. So it's on our radar. We will be improving our service to you guys. So all I can say is we are aware of it. I apologize. And we will do something about it.
I lost the bet, so Joey and Mike made me ask that question. So had I won the bet, then I would have been able to choose
hey,
one of the guys.
The best Facebook post of the weekend was, Melina, when you said, I know
Oh my God.
I'm not DAZN's customer service, but I can see why you mistake me for that.
I got probably 70 messages about it, and about 45 of them were from these two guys right here.
Oh gosh.
What's going on? It's not up. And Mike's the Facebook stream's been up for like 20 minutes, and Mike's like, DAZN's been out for a while. I'm like, Mike, it's been on Facebook for a while. Turn on your damn notifications, buddy.
Do you know what? I don't blame you for questioning it, and I wouldn't shy away from it. It needs to be highlighted. All I can say is it is on our radar. We're not just ignoring it and we're like, oh, just fine. Like, we'll leave those guys to it. We got Sky here in the UK broadcasting it. We got this and that. We got Matchroom Live, blah, blah, blah. We get it. I get it. Honestly, from the bottom of my heart, there isn't anyone more frustrated than me. And so I can only apologise for the service so far. And I will promise you that we will improve on it.
Sounds good.
That's all you can ask for, really, right? So
yeah.
Hey. Yeah.
Well, but on Facebook, it's the old adage about the loudest boos come from the cheapest seats. It's always there's always the people out there. But the biggest bitching usually comes from the people who won't pay for DAZN anyways, and won't buy a ticket to an event if it's in their backyard.
Well, there was a lot of really great things, though. There was a lot of really great things because you had two of the best players. You had a rematch of the World Championship, number one. You had two of the best players on earth going and battling in a final, number two. And you had a format that really worked and made each rack just that much more exciting to go and watch, because I've said it before. It's tough to watch Nineball with that one on the spot, and they're using a template, and everything's wide open, and it's the same damn layouts every single time. In this format, I wanted to watch every rack because it was such a battle and nothing was a gimme or a guarantee. And I think that's part of the frustration about it. But it doesn't help, or hurt the fact that you have two of the best guys going and battling it out in what ended up being a great final.
Yeah, it was an incredible final. Yeah. Incredible. Talking of tickets, we're actually going to release some more Moscone Cup tickets, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Let's have it.
Are you adding seats?
Yeah, adding seats.
What's the capacity going to be if you do this? 2,500?
I've forgotten what it is now. I get so confused. Because I'm working on the floor plan for 2023, which is obviously a lot bigger.
Okay.
I should be able to add at least another 200 seats. So just trying to figure that out at the moment and make sure we've got that, that it's right, before we can release those tickets to everyone. So, That's going to be an interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Moscone Cup in December is going to be absolutely wild. Like, wild. I feel sorry for anyone in that audience that is going for a quiet game. I don't think anyone's going for a quiet game.
When can we expect some more announcements, Emily, for picks as the race kind of thickens up for Team Europe and Team USA?
Everything after the US Open. So as soon as the US Open finishes, or you know, we had that moment in the European Open where we knew Joshua Filler had made it because of the other, I'm trying to results. So US Open is the last point for the rankings for the Moscone Cup.
And there are 3 or 4 more events between now and the US Open, correct? A couple in Europe. And
Spain,
Sandcastle.
Yeah.
Sandcastle as well.
Yeah. We're not sure about that. But yes, we just need to have a look at these ranking events just to make sure we don't encounter any problems that we did earlier on in the year.
So with
Sandcastle up in the air?
Yeah, potentially.
Okay.
With the 2 graphics that Melina just put up on the screen, there's quite a differential in earnings there for Europe and Team USA from what you see on the screen. Do you have concerns about the competitiveness of this year's Moscone Cup?
No. No, because I'm going to tell Team Europe that the event's starting an hour later.
That's awesome.
So good. We're going to get a 3-game spot. That's awesome. Yeah, I love it.
Also, at the end of the day, the captains have got 2 wild cards. And you know what? With Jeremy at all of our events as well, he's seeing these players. He's seeing what's happening. And also, I've got no say in who those top 3 players are. So I just got to live with it anyway. So it would be interesting. You know, that's why we've got these 2 wild cards. It provides this platform for, someone else to come into the mix. I'd love to see Earl back out there. Oh my gosh, I think that'd be fantastic. Love to see it.
Really?
Yeah, I think it would be brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Emily, remind me again, in the future, for future years, will the wild card stay, or will it be entirely?
Yes.
Okay, you'll still have the 2 wild cards.
It has to be. Yeah.
Joey, we're a promoter at the end of the day. Bloody
That's
hell.
right.
We need to get some juice in these events. Don't we? We need to hang on to it a little bit. But just pull up the USA one again, if you don't mind.
There we go.
So you got Shane, then Oscar, then Skylar, then Shane Wolford.
Who's that in 5th? I thought it was me. Is that me?
That's Greg Hogue sitting in number 5 after winning the Sandcastle event.
He's sitting in number 5.
He's sitting in number 5, yeah, because he snapped off Sandcastle.
There's only one chance left for the U.S. players unless they go to Europe.
Why?
Make a move.
Frustrates me that these other US players won't come and play in these events in order to get onto the Moscone. It drives me around the bend. Why? Why aren't they doing it? We've finally given them a platform where they know how to get onto the team.
Does that go and
Cost.
Make any hesitation to go and add more events to the calendar in the US for next year?
Yes.
Honestly?
But there should be, I get it. There's the Euro Tour. There is the Euro Tour for, the European side of things. But also, you have people like, who's the chap who's always got a smile on his face? America.
Nick DeLeon.
Nick DeLeon. Not you, Mike. He's like, I want to play in everything. I want to play because he can see that that's his stepping stone into these things. So yes, Europeans do have the Euro Tour, but if you're smart about it, you can come and play the Euro Tour before one of the Matchroom events. So, okay, there may be about 3 events out that the US are losing on. So we need to incorporate those into next year. We need to get some more US events. I'd love for Turning Stone to come into the Nineball rankings. That would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Or a Texas Open that's got 20,000 added, played on 9-foot tables. That's happening in 2 weeks from now.
But I believe there's 2 clashes in the US, so you can't actually make one of them a ranking event. It'd be unfair, I think.
What do you mean?
If they're going on at the same time?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think it'd be unfair for us to do that.
Yeah, I agree.
So let me ask you this relative to next year, based on format decisions, things like that. Will the restrictions, requirements, whatever on ranking events next year be a lot different, a lot stricter than they were this year? And what will those be?
It will be that whatever we decide for 2023, and again, I go back to my unified decision with the WPA, that there are these standardized rules of play. We do want to say to these promoters, we want you playing between 4.25 to 4-inch pockets. We want you making sure that, it's the players aren't wrecking themselves. It's things like that where we're trying to make it as even and as fair for the players as possible, that where it isn't a Matchroom event. So yeah, it is going to tighten up for next year, but we also respect that, these promoters have been doing this their way for a very long time. And
right.
It's hard to, I'd find it hard if someone come up to us and said, you got to do it my way. I say no.
Emily? No, I'm shocked I'm shocked to hear that.
But we're the ones making the investment. We're the ones that are making the investment into, the big prize money. So, we naturally can make these decisions, and we're the ones that can sort of lead the way. But we want to work with the promoters. I want these promoters to make money out of their events, so then they can increase the prize fund. Then the players can earn more money. I want everyone to do well from it. So
go ahead, Emily.
Go on. Well, no, I was just going to say it's better to bring everyone together and to try and understand that tournament. But again, we have to set some sort of level of requirement, because look what happened at that Sandcastle event in June.
Yeah. Well, and part of the reason for asking it was because you have this ambitious idea of having as many as 30 events next year. They're certainly not going to all be breakbacks, 9 on the spot, whatever. And so I'm interested to know what those list of bottom line, baseline requirements are going to be, and are any of them going to be money related?
I think that we should set a minimum of prize money, and there should be something in place where that cannot be changed depending on how many people sign up. That's a guarantee. That's what you've said it is. That's what you're paying out. No prize money structures change or anything like that. So I do think a minimum should be set. I also feel that it's probably down to the promoter that if they don't have to put a 30-second shot clock in. If they would prefer to play the one on the spot, then maybe they can do that, but they know they're going to attract more players. They know they're going to attract and do a better tournament if they do it, the WPA rules way, because also we're offering this other stepping stone. We've got our extra platform that we can broadcast this to. Now, all of a sudden, you've got...
That's massive.
Yeah, of course. And you can turn around your promoter, and you want to do this event and you want to get your sponsors in. All of a sudden you're saying, I've got 2 Matchroom commentators. I'm going on Matchroom Live. I'm having all of Matchroom's social support. All of a sudden your event's gone from here to up here, just from having that connection alone. So if you're a promoter or you're an organizer, it's the smart move.
What kind of other support is Matchroom going to offer partner promoters?
I think it's just going to develop in time. So the Asian Open is the first event that we're doing this with. 2 of our team are going out for the event, where we're going to be offering social support, where you're going to see this Matchroom style kind of packages available to the APF to use, so the players are automatically going to see that little Matchroom input. And like I said, I think the organisers are just going to see it for themselves. And when you tune into these events, it's clearly not a Matchroom event. It is just, supported by the Nineball World Rankings. But everyone's just going to see this benefit. Like I said, I don't really know what to expect. but we're trialing it. We're going to see how this goes, and it's going to be the start of something really big. And do you know what? I just think more for you if you're not on board, because if you're not on board now, you're going to be absolutely, you know, on the phone to us in 2 years' time, because you'll be seeing the benefit.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you earlier. Is that what's that response been like from promoters reaching out to Matchroom compared to the beginning when it's announced and seeing its momentum over the last few months, and especially after the success of the European?
Everyone was really, really reserved and conservative about it when we first announced. So that's why I was so over the moon with the likes of Pat Fleming, who and like Chad Charlo, who straight away partnered with us and said, yeah, we're on board, we trust you. And I think it's like a big shout out to people like that. And, you know, the Euro Tour ended up coming on board with us. Now, oh my God, our inbox is like just mental. I want to hold this ranking event. I want an open event here. I want this. Oh my gosh, it's crazy. That's where I know that next year's calendar is just going to be wild of Nineball, because the organisers are seeing the benefit. They see what they can do. They see that they can make some money with this. They can attract the players by having our brand with it.
So is the Euro Tour's feet going to be put to the fire for more money next year then?
Not necessarily. I think it's a case of they already put more money in where we added pressure. And they also added another event. So I think, again, it's probably more events for them, which is great. So I think it's, you know, again, we don't want to put too much pressure on the organisers, but we are learning as each event comes. We speak to the players straight after they play in that event. We're going to be very aware of what events are taking place and how they're running them. So yes, we're going to come in a bit strict for 2023, but again, we're trying to launch a tour. So there's a bit of balance.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we'll get you out of here on this. When can we expect to have you back on to announce the new open event that Matchroom will be releasing in the coming months?
Never.
It's messed up, Emily.
Yeah.
If you get over 250,000 following on your stuff, then I'll start announcing our breaking news on.
There you go.
We're working on it.
It's another minimum requirement for Matchroom.
I need sandcastle standards on mine. No, I'm kidding.
Wow.
Emily, congratulations on another great event. It was really a pleasure to watch it. I enjoyed it. I know these guys enjoyed it. And many, many people that I've talked to just really thought you kind of hit the nail on the head with the break box. And now that you announced the template rack all the way through, I think that's really going to be a key. And so really happy for you and excited about what's to come. So any final words before we leave you?
I just think that, like I said, after that final at the European Open and throughout the European Open, it finally clicked. Something's clicked now. And we've always been passionate. We've always been ambitious. But something's different. And I say I'm frightened and I say I'm scared. But we work in an office where we've got a full, successful PDC darts tour who are still building. They have a full season in the office next door. We've got a full snooker tour in the office down the hall. We've got a building that has been built bespoke for Matchroom boxing that is just in the car park. We have the resources. We are ambitious. We are passionate. And we have these incredible athletes that something is different right now, and it's jump on board because it's going to be fucking unbelievable.
That's great to hear.
I love it.
You go to sleep at night and it's all I dream about. The team is all they think about. The pool, it is literally everything is building this pool tour. And what we're going to be doing is turning these ranking events, and the top of the rankings are like $60,000, $70,000. So if you're top of the rankings, you're making $100,000 in a year. We're turning that into the $1 million. We're going to turn that into that. That is the goal, that these players have a career earning opportunity. And finally, to build this sport mainstream, it needs to be respected, but it needs to be entertaining. And that is now what we have achieved. And that is what we're going to keep building on. So like I said, if you're not on board now, fucking hell, you got no hope. Because like I said, I've never been this driven or this motivated in my life. And we just haven't even peaked yet.
That's a statement, because I've told people for the last couple of years, there's nobody in this industry that can outwork her. So if you're more motivated now than you were then, I'm clearing out of the way.
It's dangerous. It is dangerous.
You are dangerous.
The players, listen, if you're just starting off or you're thinking of retiring, I'm telling you now, players, this is the time. This is the time for Nineball. And we're just going to put we're going to put words into action. So you're going to start seeing it happen.
I like it. Well, you heard it here first. Emily, we appreciate you as always. You're always welcome back, and I'm sure we'll have you back on as the U.S. Open draws near. We appreciate everybody for tuning in. And thanks a lot, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
See ya.
See ya.